Because what everyone else wants, they want finishing to be, goalkeepers to be good. I want goalkeepers to be bad.
You don't care that everybody else wants goalkeepers to be good, but you want them to be bad and worse. So you've passed on that feedback when you are in the council for EA. It's pretty crazy to me. Yo, what's going on, guys? Superfly here, bringing you a new video. Today we're talking about FC26 and my final thoughts to the beta. If you guys haven't had a chance to play it yet, then this video is hopefully going to shed some light on some of the new features and the gameplay. So gameplay is not really much to add here. This is going to be like speaking as a whole. They have improved a lot, and it does feel like with the passing and the tackling, the way you move around, it's 100% much better than the previous years. You do feel like you are in control of your player a lot more, and it is much smoother for you to have possession play, counter-attacking football, where you can do ping-pong passes, one-time passes to get around defenses and play out from the back. So there is huge improvements with the gameplay in terms of the speed of the game. Tackling is way more rewarding. When you tackle a ball, the player who was on the ball gets a little stumble and it moves him out of the way, so you can go on a counter-attack or play out of danger using a manual tackle. I haven't really looked at slide tackling and things like that, so hopefully maybe White Gamer, when he does his video, maybe he will discuss some of those features with defending. But as like a whole package, the gameplay feels great. I'm not talking about AI things in this. That's going to be a little bit separate that we'll talk on. But just as a package, gameplay feels amazing. Going on to about the AI, there is still a huge problem with AI defending and the AI movement. And we've heard from countless times from EA, every year AI improves, they do better runs, they do have better intelligence with defending and attacking. It's still the same from my personal experience and what I've played. It still feels pretty bad. AI goes to make a run, then they just stop. When you prompt them to run, their attacking awareness for making good runs is poor. Defensively, they don't track runs. Yeah, and they're still obviously quite overpowered with defending. If you are just doing a single man defending, AI is still pretty powerful. In terms of the goalkeepers, they're really bad. AI goalkeepers are terrible. Goalkeepers across the whole board in this game is very bad. The AI are way better than a human controlled goalkeeper, but they are still really bad. My first game in foot, I won 9-1 and the game was boring. Like, other than the scoring the goals, building up play felt really good, but then scoring didn't really feel great, because the moment you were in or around that box, it was almost a goal every time. So yeah, as a defender, if somebody breaks your line, there's no hope that the keeper's going to save it. It's just going to go in. Maybe you guys have had a different experience to that, so let me know in the comments below. But again, taking the AI side of it out, the game does feel really good to play, and I'm really looking forward to playing it throughout the year, hopefully with better changes coming forward. Moving from that, we're going to go now into like the clubs side of it. We're going to start with Rush game mode. I really liked Rush this year. Again, it's getting more and more like clubs in terms of how it feels. And with what we touched on with the gameplay, with passing the ball around and movement, it does feel really good and suited for Rush, actually. It does feel nice. If you've got a good 5-stack who want to play passing, possession, quick, aggressive football in a Rush game mode, you could have a lot of fun with it, especially with the new tackling as well. The only problem is goalkeepers are still bad, whether you're up against AI or human goalkeepers, and the shooting is way overpowered. You can hit a low-driven shot from anywhere and it's going to go in. And the strikers have already started to realize this, and they are shooting from anywhere. Every shot's almost a low-driven shot and it's going in probably 99% of the time. It's crazy how much it goes in from crazy angles, crazy distances, and the keeper will pull off a save you in there. But AI, again, is still better than human goalkeepers currently, which shouldn't really be the case. If you're a really good goalkeeper and you can manually move and get into good positions that the AI can't really read or understand, then you should be rewarded as a goalkeeper for that. And especially with the new additions to the tournaments and where you can earn rewards for your clubs and things like that, it's really good. I do like the way that's going forward, with requirements to go into certain different tournaments. Now we're going to move on to level up system and how it works. So currently the max level is 40 with a total points of 713 AXP points that you can get to use on your player's attributes and to upgrade his stats. So in the Rush game mode, from my experience and what I've been getting anything from around 115 AXP to 200 AXP, and that is every 5 minutes. Because a Rush game is now 5 minutes long. So in every 5 minutes, you could be earning, let's say on average, 150 every 5 minutes. For the club / drop-ins, and you get obviously more in the clubs, if you are in a promotion fight and you get promoted, you do get a promotional bonus. So that would be the only difference there. But for clubs and drop-ins, I was getting anything from 250 to 400 every 15 minutes or so, with a match bonus on top of that with a win. I am currently max level at 40, and I cannot get any more attribute points. It is capped on 713 currently in the beta. When the game comes out, it will increase over the X amount of months, and it might go up as far as 120 levels like last year, which we might be able to then get other stats. But currently, level 40, and when the game comes out, they've said that it's going to be 50 is going to be like the capping point. So you get 20 XAXP for every one level. So that would be 100 points that you can get, which is not a lot. It's not a lot. When once you start getting into the 80s and 90s to level your player up, it starts going from like 30 to 40 to level up just one little digit. So it's not a lot. You will only be out of 100 points, you might be able to level up 2 things. As you can see on screen, I focused on diving, reactions, and reflexes because they are the most important stats for a goalkeeper, not the handling one or the positioning, as positioning is linked with auto positioning and it has no bearing on your stats. So it's pointless putting that one on unless you want to go from like an 86 rated to like an 88 or something like that. Then it has no effect to you as a goalkeeper. The handling does, it increases your catching and deflection stats, but again, it's not as important, so I focused on the ones that were. But in doing so, I missed out now on deflection, far throw, because to get those, you need to have specific stats up to a certain level, like agility needs to be above 80, acceleration needs to be above 80 for 1v1 and things like that. And I never focused on that. I focused on my main ones, and I'm only now stuck with my far reach and footwork playstyles that I will get turned into playstyle pluses. But, and this is how hard it is to level up your player, I'm locked in to how I want to build it. EA have said that you got the free will to build the player that you want. You don't. It's so hard to build it because if you do prioritize other things to get playstyles, you're heavily reduced on other stats that could be important to you. So it is a game of, do I take this over this? If I take this, I don't get playstyles. So the only way I'm able to get playstyles with my current stats that you're seeing on screen is by a facility that gives me the deflector playstyle. And I don't like this new feature. I think this is not very good. At the start, I was interested. I was enjoying it at the start. But once I hit max level and I realized it's actually really damaging in terms of how you want to build your player, it's not great. All right, so now we're moving on to archetypes. This is one of the biggest features that came to the new FC26. And in clubs, when you make a player, you get to pick an archetype in your position. Goalkeepers, you get 2. You get the shot stopper and sweeper keeper, with each archetype being locked to 2 playstyles, and you can get a third playstyle. You need to be level 40. That playstyle you unlock, you can use to swap out one of your playstyles that is locked to your archetype. So if I didn't want far reach on my archetype and I've unlocked the specialists which come with a playstyle, I can swap out my far reach for one of the other playstyles. So you still only can have 2 playstyle pluses, but you can swap out one of them for a different one. But level 40 is when you get your signatures, which is when you can use your third playstyle to swap out for the one you've already got. Each playstyle also has a perk that comes with it that gives you a temporary boost in the game. I get a boost for X amount of times that will give me reactions or vision and things like that for like 2 or 3 minutes. There is a way that I have found out how I can manually activate the foot save and get a boost from it, and that will trigger every time I do it. So when it runs out, I can trigger it again instantly and get a boost again that increases my reactions and reflexes and things like that. That will be in another video talking about that. So there's a way that you can link these perks together, which will take a little bit of time to work out, but there is a way for that. I currently don't like them. I don't really want active boosts within a game. I think just keep it to bog standard playstyles, attributes, and that is it. I don't want boosts and little buffs getting perked up here and there. To buy a new archetype, it costs 25,000 coins, and to reset your archetype and its attributes, it costs 10,000. When you buy a new archetype, and let's say I'm level 40 on my goalkeeper archetype and I want to play as a midfielder, when I buy a new midfielder archetype, I don't take my points that I've built up from my goalkeeper over. It starts completely scratch from level 1, and I have to level that one all the way back up to level 40 or max level, and then reapply attribute points as I get given them. So none of the stats carry over. To eventually get max level on your player, When the game comes out, it's going to be level 50. Again, linking with the attributes and the level ups. So when you start off, 50 is going to be the highest cap, but over the next few months, they're going to increase it probably up to level 150. It was what was it last year? 120 they increased it to. So this year I reckon it's going to be the same or maybe 150. Once you get to 150, there's a high chance that you might be able to get probably pretty maxed with your position you're playing in. But getting to that point, it's going to be, you know, a long time in that game cycle. Because if EA update it every 2 to 3 months, you know, by the time they drop the max level of which you can get to, the game is probably pretty close to FC27 coming out. I don't know about you, but I don't feel like waiting, 7 months before I can even level up my guy, because EA have not dropped an update for me to gain more XP. That is one feature I don't like. I want to gain XP and get max level as much as I can and not cap me in certain parts of the year. So I wish that would change myself personally. And I'm going to show you an example here of 2 of the playstyles that come with the archetype for Shot Stopper and the Sweeper Keeper. So the Shot Stopper archetype comes with far reach and footwork. When you hit level 40, your far reach goes to playstyle plus. And I think when it's like level 20 or 15, your footwork will go to the playstyle plus. You don't get to choose which one prioritizes over the other. The game does that for you. So whatever one you've got, one of them will get playstyle plus first, and the other one will be once you hit in the beta max level. Once you get to max level and you unlock signatures, again, this is when you get the third playstyle that you can swap in and out. For the Shot Stopper, you get one-on-one close down, deflector, and cross claimer. They're the ones you can choose from to swap out from far reach or footwork. The only one I would probably swap out would maybe footwork for 1v1 close down, deflector and cross claimer. I don't think they're going to be as important again this year, the same as last and all the other years before. But with each one does come with a perk. Like I said, playstyles come with perks, and some of the perks are really bad that get linked to the playstyles. For example, the Sweeper Keeper, you start off with 1v1 close down and far reach that you have from the beginning. Once you get max level, you can have the signature playstyle plus, which you can swap out, and with that you get far throw, long ball pass, and press proven for the Sweeper Keeper. Yes, they're the ones you get with the Sweeper Keeper. To do one of these, okay, like the press proven, for you to activate your perk, for you to get a little buff, you've got to do a fake shot in your own box with the ball when there's an opponent near you, just to get a perk. Like, what is that about? And then the other one is you got to come out of your box and slide tackle a player on the ball to get a perk. I don't get it. Why would you want to do that as a goalkeeper? I have no idea. If my keeper is fake shotting in his box and he gets tackled, I'm going to go nuts. And what's his excuse going to be? I'm just trying to get my play style perks. It is so bad. It is so bad. All that needs to be removed or looked at, because I don't like it, to be honest. Like I said, at the start, I actually kind of liked it. I thought it was new, it was fresh. But the more you look into it and the more you have played it and you realize you are actually handcuffed to how you want to build your player. Because if you don't put certain stats in certain areas, you will not get playstyles. I am max level with only 2 playstyles, and they are both the ones I started with. I do have the deflector playstyle, but that is, again, through the facilities. So that needs a whole new rework. I don't like the way it looks, the way it feels when you build a new player. It's pretty dumb, and the cost to level up is so expensive. Maybe it will be okay if they lower the price down a little bit for each level up. All right, guys, the big one, goalkeepers. That goalkeepers are linked from foot, pro clubs, rush, kickoff, career mode. We all share the same coding, but us human goalkeepers, we have a little bit more flexibility in terms of we can manually move and choose a direction which way we want to make it safe. But in terms of the coding, if something gets nerfed in foot or career mode, for goalkeepers, we get it too as keepers. If you've seen my previous video talking about how bad goalkeepers are, I still have that same standpoint. My opinion on that has not changed. In fact, it's increased. Since then, I've realized that the playstyles pluses do not activate. So your silver playstyles are not activating. The only one that works is the close down, and even that is not working properly. Because when you hold wide to rush out, sometimes your keeper will rush out with the player on the ball, and sometimes your keeper will stand there and do like this stutter. You can't rush out for crosses or corners. You have to manually move. And when you press Y or triangle, yes, you get the icon above the head that is activating, but you don't go anywhere. You don't run half the time. You don't go anywhere. So yes, that is the only one I've seen activate. All the others, again, do not activate. So EA, I don't understand why we still have another year, or we're going to have another year where goalkeepers' playstyles do not activate. When everyone else's playstyles do, ours don't. Why is that? I can accept animations like you bringing back the manual saves when you run out and press B or circle to make yourself big. I can understand there being animation problems or maybe an issue with that, and I can accept it to an extent. But a playstyle that has been in the game for a while now and it not working again, that's unacceptable. That shows to me a lack of incompetence and in your company to actually test the game that you're making and just put whatever game out you want and deal with it when you want to, but it still isn't dealt with. So I don't know who you got on your team to test these things, but whatever they're doing is not the job they're supposed to be doing. So I did have a little bit of a beef with another YouTuber called Neil Guides. So if you see us, Neil Guides, know that we're both coming from the same place, so we want the game to be good. We both like playing it. Everyone watching this video likes playing the game. It is something I've been playing since FIFA 98, and it's the only game I kind of really enjoy playing with competitive and pro clubs. But when you're saying in your videos, you don't care that everybody else wants goalkeepers to be good, but you want them to be bad and worse. So you've passed on that feedback when you are in the council for EA. It's pretty crazy to me.
Thoughts on goalkeepers being reworked? Okay, so I think, again, this is an issue where, there's different versions of the game that we play. In my opinion, the version of the game that I played, I like goalkeepers, but I feel like finishing should be more rewarding. So I've given them the feedback. I hope they because what everyone else wants, they want finishing to be, goalkeepers to be good. I want goalkeepers to be bad. I want when you beat a defense, you should be rewarded. And that was what we talked about in the interview yesterday. So I think that was the most important thing, is to make the game more rewarding.
Surely the opinion of everybody else's should weigh up way more than your own personal needs and wants. And I don't think you quite understand the conversation or what I was trying to explain to you. Yes, I approached your video with emotion and rudeness. I agree. I don't apologize for it, to be honest, because your take is still pretty fucking dumb. That goalkeeper should be worse because you should be rewarded getting into the box and scoring a goal, because you've had the struggle of breaking down a player to get into the box when you claim that you are playing at the highest level in foot. So if you're playing at the highest level in foot, don't fucking complain. They're good and they're there for a reason. Don't cry about you struggling to get into the box, and when you get there, you want to be rewarded. That's not how it works. And calling me out on my football knowledge of how a 1v1 works. I play as a goalkeeper. I know how a 1v1 works. It's always in the attacker's favour. But it doesn't mean a goalkeeper should be non-existent and you should be rewarded with a goal every time. Goalkeepers, when you nerf Ultimate Team keepers, you nerf pro clubs, you nerf career mode, you nerf rush, you nerf kickoff. We all get nerfed, regardless. So I understand that you probably was not thinking about that when you made your stupid comment and you passed over your information to nerf goalkeepers. For me, scoring against a goalkeeper that is hard to score against and then you finally do, gives you that feeling of rewarding where you go, fuck, I can't believe now I've actually scored a goal. It's tough to score. I've got one. Now I need to keep this lead. Not goal, 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 and it's fucking finishing 8-9. How is that fun? I understand why EA do it, because in the esports competitive league, they want fun, exciting games. And games that are scored 1-0 may not be classed as exciting. But for me, I think it is. I think knowing that there could only be a 1-goal difference between the two, and it comes down to who breaks who down first and gets that goal, who can work around a good goalkeeper, should be rewarded for that goal. It shouldn't be when you're in the box, you get to score anything, no matter where you are, angle, get it always on target. I don't agree with that. Yeah, so I do disagree with your point. I think you weren't thinking about the whole community. Well, you weren't thinking about the whole community. You were thinking about yourself and what you want. But this is why us goalkeepers are suffering in competitive for pro clubs, not Ultimate Team, but for pro clubs, because nerfs like that to the foot community and in other game modes affects us too. EA are not going to separate the two. So we have to come to a balance, which leads beyond to, you can't call yourself a competitive game and play at the highest levels, whether it's competitive in foot or pro clubs. Cannot have a competitive game mode when there's zero balancing, whether that's with the attackers, midfielders, defenders, or goalkeepers. I don't want goalkeepers to be overpowered and you can't score against us. It wouldn't be fun for me, because then there's no challenge for me to make a save. I don't want that. I want it to be balanced. Goalkeepers can't dive. We just stuck to the floor. When you do manually moving the keeper with foot, now they've lowered it to only like one step, then there's a delay. Goalkeepers in pro clubs, you flick right, you dive left. There's so much delay. There's shot power. When people are only 73 rated, it's a huge problem. Like I said, I've listed all my other problems with the goalkeepers in a previous video, which I will link in the comments below. But I think goalkeeping is completely ruined. But I do need your help as a community. If you want to make FIFA or FC, better and more balanced and more enjoyable, especially from a goalkeeper standpoint, comment down below if you agreed with anything I've said, or if you disagree, what your own opinions are of the game, even the last year's game. It doesn't have to be just this one. So if you haven't played the beta and you've played the last year's, problems are still in the game from last year and worse. So you do still have a voice, even if you haven't played the beta and you've played the other ones. So please comment down below. Help me pass on information to EA, because they have reached out and they want to talk to me about the game. And I'm going to be doing that soon, possibly over the next few days. So any feedback you give in the comments, I will do my best to give them everything that I feel like is needed. And I will voice your opinions. We need to come together and show EA, whilst they're listening to feedback, that we want improvements and this is not acceptable. Because as it stands now, EA have misled the whole FIFA or FC community with their ad campaign, like I said. Feel lied to, misled, and the game isn't cheap. It's £100 for the Ultimate Edition. And comment down below how many of you have bought the Ultimate Edition already. How many haven't? Let me know. Neil, guys, I just want to let you know that I don't have any personal beef with you. I think your take was dumb, and the comments after that were still dumb because you couldn't understand the two differences. You were just so one-sided to foot and what you wanted, and you couldn't see it affects the whole game. If you want to talk privately in Discord, I'm more than happy to speak to you, and we can, voice each other's opinions and trying to come to some sort of understanding of each other. But for me, I want the game balanced across the whole board, not one-sided, no advantages, no disadvantages. Guys, like the video and subscribe. Comment down below, like I said, your feedbacks. And if there's anything you've disagreed with me or you agree with, let me know. It's an open conversation. It is the beta. It is an earlier version of the game. So when the game comes out, some of the things we're talking about here might not be in the game. But again, I feel like that's a fault of EA. Like, they shouldn't be releasing a beta that could be 5 months ago, because then we're giving incorrect feedback, if you understand what I'm saying. We need a game that's a month old, a few weeks old, for us to give true feedback. If it's 6 months ago, how can we give correct feedback when the game could have changed a lot since then? But anyway, let me know in the comments below, guys. Take care, and I'll see you soon.